trying to escape from the curses I was born to break, finding a way to overcome my fears. I am strong enough. There might be some bumpy roads ahead, but I'm equipped. I've learned some great lessons. The power lies in me. Now I see so clearly. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. It's a blessing that I've come this far. 'Cause when you feel alone, I know it can get hard. But I'm choosing gratitude, grace, love, and peace. You're always with me. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. Believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in
And you are live. You need to unmute your mic. It's there's a mute button on there.
I'm no longer trying to escape
It's inside StreamYard.
from the curses I was born to break, finding a way to overcome my fears. I am strong.
Let me say something. Let me see. Yeah, you have to. It tells me you have to unmute it.
Oh, I did it.
There you
Hey.
go.
Something every week. I don't know what.
And you
Good
you
evening.
get IT
You
up?
wanna- Huh?
Instagram?
Good
You
evening.
have an Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram finally. Hello,
All
Instagram
right.
folks. Hello, Joel and Bree and Lanita and Jay and Gloria. Hey, Ken, Natalie, Patricia, Dalen. So nice to see you each week. Those of you are so consistent. And David Benjamin, hope you hear me well. I had a little bit of a glitch tonight, but nothing major. It's always something with this equipment. It's hard to get it right. I'm going to. I don't think I'll be real long tonight, but what? This phone went off on its own. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, you could have inside that thing, you could actually hit the power button.
I don't know. Anyway,
You turn it back on.
Since we're dealing with this, I've talked to a number of people, and we're going to talk about glitch in the matrix. Matrix means the mother, or the origin, or the main manufacturer of our isness, our amness, God, if you will. But on an earthly level, things that incubate and produce. People are complaining to me, and I'm noticing myself with little glitches like in television, it goes to the wrong station. You hit the right station, it goes to the wrong station. You get to the right station, and the sound is inconsistent with the video, or the phone just shuts off, or something pops up, or technologically, just like what happened with the bank in California. Nobody, 1 hour before it shuts down, they tell her everything's fine. And this lady had like 20 million in there or something. An hour later, it shuts down. Railroads jumping the tracks, airplanes clipping each other, strange things happening with people, outburst. There's an energy shift. I'm talking about the glitch in the matrix. This is happening globally. It's happening personally. It's happening collectively. In each nation, people are having strange dreams, different sleeping habits, restlessness, or feeling sluggish all day, wanting to take a nap all day, even after you've just gotten up. All of that is nothing wrong with you. It's just that the energy on the planet is shifting in ways because the planetary alignments haven't been the way they are now for 200 years or more. If you do a little research into astrology, you'll find out that we are stargazers. That's what the term pastor comes from, or pasture. There were shepherds in there tending to their flocks by night in the pastures, but they were looking. Astor is the Greek word for star. So they were looking at the stars. That's where the whole zodiac thing came from. That's where the whole zodiac thing came from. So I do study the stars, and I listen to those who do, and I have for some years. I didn't tell everybody because evangelical Christian fundamentalists find something demonic in everything except themselves. Some of the doctrines and dogmas of the church are just demonic, if you want to use that terminology. What I mean is they are of an unhealthy spirit. Not all, of course, but a lot. So anyway, the glitch in the matrix is what I want to talk about tonight. A glitch is an unexpected and usually temporary malfunction or irregularity of equipment or other common functions or functionalities, including your body, your mind. The word matrix is derived from the Latin mater, which means mother or breeding female, from the late Middle English reference to the womb. There are glitches in wombs. There are glitches in pregnancies. There are glitches in pregnancies. Some of you are pregnant with ideas and visions and have been, and there was a glitch somewhere. Something stopped everything, including you. America, there's a glitch. There are glitches in our politics. There are glitches in our finances. There are glitches in our sociology and our cultural consciousness. There are lots of glitches in our leadership, in Congress, in our financial institutions, in our law enforcement agencies, in education, in religion. Glitches. These are sudden, again, as I said, usually unexpected, usually temporary malfunctions, but they upset things. It all pans out at some point, but during the time that you're going through the transition, it just freaks you out. And people are literally freaking out and exploding all across the planet in some strange ways. Time is pregnant. This hour we live in is pregnant. This present age is evolving into something new and something different. While we sit here, while we speak, things are occurring. We must all plan to adjust, both automatically and intentionally, awareingly, deliberately. You have to make adjustments. We need to be deliberate and willing, even if not eager, to make the changes. I've been saying for years now, make the change, manage the change, and master it ultimately. That's a daily discipline. It's an obligation, if you will. Again, the universe is pregnant. It's cleansing and clearing and correcting itself. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're experiencing. Global warming, climate change, political upheavals, extremism, excess, even the abstract, in any and every way, is all part of the present evolution. And if you've heard me say before, there is no evolution without dissolution or dissolution. This is all part of the birthing of a new spiritual and cultural paradigm. Things are changing as we speak. And it's not just a repeat of the past or a repent of the past, and we're doing both, but a replacement of the past. A lot of things that fit in the 20th century just don't and won't fit in the 21st century in every aspect. It just won't, it won't fit. And Jesus makes a reference in scripture to old wine and wine skins. It bursts the old wine skins. And I'm personally pretty tired of old wine skins, old winos, and old winers. I say about the church I was raised in, they preach more crisis than Christ. Evangelicals don't really preach Christ anymore. They preach crisis. They find a crisis everywhere. And they're attacking and going after things and ruining their witness and showing less love and less compassion. No love, no compassion, just doctrine and dogma. We got to hold our rights. Neo-Nazis and Christians, what would they have in common? White supremacists, neo-Nazis, Vladimir Putin, and Christianity? How could you mention them all in the same sentence and be talking of relevant events? You know, I've been talking about that a lot. So although the majority of pregnancies are uneventful, sometimes, however, complications do happen. Some of the more common complications of pregnancy are amniotic fluids, which is the fluids that we swim in or tread water in the first 9 months of our existence. By the time we've been in our mother's womb 9 months, most of the amniotic fluids are urine that's come out of us. And we're used to, we don't even need oxygen in the womb, so we don't breathe. We're like fish. But that's one of the main areas of problems of complications in pregnancies. Ectopic pregnancies is a complication in which the embryo detaches or attaches outside the uterus. That happens fairly frequently, and that can lead to miscarriage or fetal loss. This is all in pregnancy. It's all natural. Placental complications, placenta or placental complications, and the list goes on. You know, the placenta is the connection between the baby's body and where your navel is. You cut that. I actually cut the placenta on both my children when they were born, lifted them up to the heavens, and surrendered them to the higher divine mind or God. So the U.S. is the, hard to believe this, but the United States is the most dangerous developed country in which to give birth. Sad to say. For Black women, the most frequent victims of our crisis level maternal mortality rates, the odds are even worse. For Black women, we don't even know all the reasons. There are some, and I'm not going to go into all that tonight, but according to the most recent data, the maternal death rate for Black women is more than double that of white women. 44 deaths per 100,000 live births compared to 17.9 deaths to 100,000 live births in the Caucasian community. It was also more than 3 times the rate for Hispanic women, which is at 12.6 deaths per 100,000 live births. There are any number of reasons for which we, again, will do another time. The point is that being pregnant, and the country is, the culture is, the consciousness is, time is, you are, I am, we are pregnant. It can be dangerous, and for some, quite damaging. So a lot of strange things are happening and will happen. I'm not trying to alarm you. I'm just trying to alert you so you can prepare, make the necessary adjustments, tweak where it needs to be. A lot of the things that are happening, we can't change. We can just survive and navigate and negotiate our way. We'll come out okay on the other end, but you got to stay with the program until we get there because we don't know when the end will come. These are glitches. They're all glitches in the matrix, the normal birthing process. Sudden, unexpected, as I said, and usually temporary malfunctions or irregularities of equipment. They could be bodies, minds, other common function or functionalities in this human reality. Mother Earth is both the natural birth of who, that, and what we are as human beings, and the spiritual nature of who we are essentially as earthlings. So we have a mind, we have a body, but we are spirit, essence, esoteric and exoteric. We are dealing with the ethereal realities, the non-visible realities. You sense them, you see them not with the natural eye, you feel, you intuit them. You have the five senses, sight, taste, touch, hear, smell. And then the sixth sense is your extrasensory perception and one of the chakras. And then the seventh sense is your sense of humor. And I inject it in everything because that's the healing part. A spoonful of sugar or humor makes the medicine go down. All living things grow. You've heard me say this before. All growing things change. And all change is a challenge, sometimes and usually a struggle. Again, all living things grow. All growing things evolve or change. And all evolution or change is a challenge, sometimes a struggle. Understanding what's most important to you, knowing your core values, keeps you from losing yourself in the process of change. You can't stop change or the process or progress of change when it's ordained by the universe. And I think what we're going through right now, however sloppy, clumsy, awkward, almost frightening it appears, this change is ordained. I'm so ready for it. I'm even eager. I'm willing and I'm eager. Some people are never going to be eager about it because you're so comfortable with the familiar, and I understand. You've mastered the familiar. Change makes you start all over again. Redo, restart, renew some things. Now, over 60 million Americans suffer severe allergic reactions to seasonal changes, and even more overall climate change. Over 60 million Americans and many millions around the world struggle with allergic reactions to the changing of the seasons. We're coming into spring now. People are getting out their nasal sprays, and some people have to take a shot every day because of the pollen that's in the air. In the colder months, you have less of it. But when these trees start blossoming and blooming and insects and things start coming and animals are more active, people start having allergic reactions. Taking a leap of faith and trusting yourself can bring the transformation you've been waiting for when it comes to change. A leap of faith and trusting yourself, your soul, can bring transformation, the very transformation that you've been waiting for when it comes to change. Transformation and change are synonymous. Change is transformation. Transformation is change. Embracing change can break old habits, cause you to discover new ones. It opens opportunities for growth and expansion, exciting beginnings and humblings, as well as encouraging moments of personal success. You got to take some steps of faith. Positive changes take you back to your most authentic or authorized self. There's an unauthorized part of you that bursts in anger and grief and depression and that's not authorized. That's unauthorized. The authentic you is not an impersonator. And so positive changes take you back to I say back because many of us have deviated from our authentic selves. People, I often say, impersonate who they think people want them to be, and in the process lose who they really are or never experience who they really are authentically. So we become imposters and impersonators, and hoping people will like us. That's natural. That's normal. It's not the best way to live. It's okay for people to like you or for you to want them to. In most cases, we don't even like ourselves. So we're always doing something to tweak. Well, that's okay to tweak, to adjust, to try to improve yourself, impress yourself with you. There are natural seasons and there are supernatural seasons and sessions to which some people are allergic. There are both genetic and environmental factors involved in allergic reactions and seasonal change. It just happens. Got me? Allergies, also known as allergic diseases or diseases, refer to a number of conditions caused by hypersensitivity of the immune system to typically harmless substances in the environment. These are typically harmless, but some people have hypersensitive immune systems. The immune system, immunization is a kind of exemption or protection, especially from an obligation or the effects of something. We don't like obligatory life restraints. Some of us are psychologically resistant to obligation, to commitment, to restraints. We're free spirits, and anything that suggests otherwise, we tend to resent and resist. That's kind of natural. All of us do it in various ways, in many ways, all the time. Every day, we resist something. Every day, we find ourselves resenting something. Or I cook cream of wheat for my mom or oatmeal most mornings. Sometimes she wants, an egg or something. But sometimes I've had a little trouble with my taste buds. Sometimes I can only taste sugar or salt. It's the weirdest thing. I don't taste garlic. I don't taste bell pepper, celery, and I love cooking and I love tasting all those things. The last couple of years, I've been experimenting. I mean, I do the best I can. I season things, but I don't have recipes that tell me exact amounts. I season it to my taste. Well, when my taste fails me, I'm going by memory. I use the same ingredients. How much varies on how it tastes to me. Sometimes the taste opens up and I can taste everything perfectly for a few seconds or maybe a few minutes. Then next thing I know, it's gone. It can change between bites. A mouthful of food and everything tastes wonderful and delicious. And I end the meal with tasting nothing but salt, or eat the piece of pie with nothing but sugar. Isn't that weird? Some people struggle with that emotionally. All they can taste is salt or bitterness or sugar, sweetness, but nothing in between. It's pretty boring, pretty obnoxious in so many ways. So change is the word and reality of this season in human history and really in overall time. These are not necessarily all human-made changes that we're going through right now. Sometimes they're human caused, but they're not human created. The universe herself or itself is imposing many of these changes. They will and are affecting humankind globally. These changes are. And the universe has ordained them. When I say universe, that's another word for God. Some Christians, what about God? God's not a name. God is a title. Okay? Yahweh is a name. Yeshua, Jesus or Joshua is a name. But God isn't. It's a title. And every religion has their gods. You have yours. I said gods with an S on the end, little g. Even Jesus in scripture is recorded to have said, is it not written to the Jews in your laws that you are gods, divinities, or entities? Gods with a little g. You're divine. And you are divine. You're divisive, but you're divine. You're divided, but you're divine. We all are. There is a global restlessness and anxiety that combines paranoia and psychosis in ways we've not seen before. Both have and always will exist, but not at the level they do today. By paranoia, I mean paranoia is often when the unwarranted or delusional belief that one is being persecuted or harassed or betrayed by others. It's occurring as a part of a mental condition, paranoia. Think about how often you feel that you are being persecuted or harassed or betrayed, even by culture. I have a brother that can really break down all the paranoias of the culture, what they're doing to man with Bill Gates and property and farming. And there's a bunch of people into conspiracy theories, and some of them have some truth in them, but they live their life in that paranoia, always with the victim consciousness. Be careful of that. It's unwarranted victim consciousness, and that's a form of mental illness, paranoia. Most of the people in the GOP, the Christian nationalists, and all these people that are freaking out over trying to change, and they have what is it, state that they call? Trump's got these folks so scared about everything. These extremists, and these people are in Congress wearing suits and ties and beautiful dresses and pantsuits, and they have authority and position, and they're mentally ill. It just comes right out of their mouth. They were elected by people, I think, who are mentally deranged, paranoid, psychotic. It's everywhere. There's all these every day on the news and on television. There's constant talk about mental illness among teenagers and depression and suicides. The suicide rates for all areas, all age groups, is higher than normal. Some of that was triggered by COVID. People got paranoid about dying. And many of these are people of faith, and they think they're going to heaven or believe that there's life after death and that to live is Christ and die is gain. Yet they freak out over the possibility of dying. You know, dying and life and death are not enemies. They're not even opposites. They're comrades. They help define each other. They both have ordained or authorized positions and existence on the plane of consciousness that we live. Don't see them as enemies. As Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Got that? I'm just trying to walk you through some of these crazy things. Psychosis is a severe mental disorder. It's defined that way. A severe mental disorder in which thought and emotions are so impaired that contact is lost with external reality. Thought and emotions are so impaired, and I say impeded, that that contact is lost with external realities. Psychosis and paranoia are a primary endemic mental derangement in our culture today, and really around the world. The energy on the planet is rife with protestation and demonstrations against whatever seems offensive to whomever. I keep bringing up the Trump thing because it's in the news all the time. I think he's probably going to be indicted on one of these cases. The New York case looks pretty clear that he'll be indicted. If he isn't on any of these major four criminal investigations, there will be chaos and anarchy in our culture and in our cities, in our country, and at a level we've never experienced. Because he has open lawlessness, open arrogance, lack of dignity. He lies habitually. No president in the history of the nation has been known to lie so incessantly as this man. He's so thuggish and mobbish. And I have to bring it out because so many pretty decent Americans vote for him. I know Black people, Hispanics, Asians. He slammed us all. Women alone should be the first ones to I mean, he made fun of them, grabbing them by their organs, kissing them. He sees them as sexual objects. He's abused women. That's the big case in New York right now, where he paid $130,000 to silence a prostitute that he had relationships with, and took evidently taxpayer campaign money to pay her off silently. He's going to go down. How can you support that kind of energy? When it's all over, we're going to look back in history and say, what on earth were we thinking? A support of Donald Trump is support of Vladimir Putin, our arch enemy number one. You see what he's doing in Russia, in the Ukraine, killing innocent people, babies, animals, older people, couples, dropping bombs on the power system so that people can freeze in the winter. They're now having him up for crimes against humanity. That's Vladimir Putin, who told us not to vote for Hillary Clinton, but vote for Donald Trump. And millions did and still do. How? I mean, blind Bartimaeus, Ray Charles, Stephen Winter can see that's wrong, that this man hates America and has done quite well at separating our democracy and tearing it down. And he's used Republicans to do it. Makes me think he has something on all of them. It's creepy. So now, this is not just though in America. The energy on the planet is rife with protestation, demonstrations against whatever seems too offensive. Trump will go after anybody, even his best friends, if they offend him. The U.S., the us against them emotion, commotion, devotion is as strong as almost religious fundamentalism, dogma, and doctrine. It has become a religion, us against them, tribalism, culturalism, geography, property, rights. Everybody's tense. People have fought, killed, and died for such tribalist motives for millennia. It's normal for people to find their religion in their opinion or in their fears. Fear of God is supposed to mean you're right. A God-fearing man or woman is supposed to be somebody who's righteous. That means they fear God's hell. And the only reason they don't break the rules or are trustworthy or have integrity is because they don't want to go to hell. Now, if people didn't fear God, how many of them would live holy, righteous, integrous lives? That's what that whole comment infers. He's a God-fearing man. Well, that's all a little. World War III may not occur the way World Wars I and II did. World War III is really already occurring in the world and throughout it, both on a local and national levels. America's hate crimes rose 11.6% from 2020 to 2021. Look what's happening in Israel. Look what's happening in Iran. Look what's happening in Europe. Look what's happening in Venezuela. Look what's happening in Argentina. The planetary alignments have so disturbed and interrupted the energy of the planet until people are going nuts. We're armed with 400 million guns, more guns than people, and every single day of the year. We've had more killings in this year so far than we've had days. Gunshots, mass murders, mass killings. Every day, people are anxious. They're mentally ill. They're frightened. They're angry, and they've got guns. We've armed ourselves to kill ourselves. How ridiculous. And it's usually the conservatives, most of whom are evangelical Christians who have all this faith in God. They actually have more faith in guns. Our motto says, in God we trust, but it's really in guns we trust. We become one nation under guns more than God, and so many people say. And I'm only bringing it up because so many Christians who have such pride in the term "in God we trust," and therefore this nation should be better than any other nation on the planet. It's becoming the spectacle and laughing stock of the nations. White people tend to be the angriest we've ever seen thus far in recent history. A long-time cherished, very close white friend of mine said this to me today. He just brought it up randomly. He volunteered that he'd never witnessed more hate-filled anger and paranoia within his ethnic group before. He's a born-again, spirit-filled, and or charismatic Christian, as are 90% of his angry friends and family members. Church-going, Bible-toting, Bible-quoting. Some of them are pew-jumping, devil-thumping, Holy Ghost-filled Christians, angry at the liberals and the progressives and the gays and the women that believe in choice. And I've never seen this kind of contorted mindset so obvious. Progressive Muslims are rebelling against fundamentalist traditionalist Muslims. Even progressive Israelis, Jews, are revolting against the conservative agenda and administration of Prime Minister Netanyahu. And this rebellion goes all the way up to branches within Israel's Air Force, Israel's Air Force and pilots who are refusing to fly offensive or even protective missions for the Israeli government. We've never heard of this. The news is not even telling you a lot about it. This is Netanyahu's second time around. He's investigating on accused of criminal activity, probably is. But all three of the Abrahamic faiths stand in a jeopardy they haven't in centuries or more likely ever. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Because the stuff that has worked through, and as us for millennia is coming to a halt. Religion is being exposed for what it is, especially the hypocrisy. There seems to be a glitch in the earthly matrix. We're seeing it everywhere. An increase in natural disasters, including climate change, global warming, and other eruptions and interruptions of nature, as well as life overall. Glitch in the matrix. To adjust is to alter or move. That's what the word adjust means. I'm saying we must adjust. We must slightly change things, or sometimes dramatically change things. To adjust is to alter or to move something slightly or even majorly in order to achieve the desired fit appearance. Fit, the desired appearance, or the desired result or stability. We'll be forced to adjust or adapt in ways that appear initially quite disruptive and inconvenient. Those are the kinds of adjustments I'm trying to encourage you, and adaptations I'm encouraging you to make. Stay open. If you're real stiff, I remember when I was wrestling, I was never a professional wrestler, but I wrestled a little bit in high school. And one of the things the coach taught us is to learn how to fall. Because when you wrestle, you're going to end up on the mat. You got to go down. You can't even pin the person or be pinned unless you go down with your opponent. So he says, so learn how to fall without stiffening up, because if you're too stiff, when you fall, you can break a bone, you can break something, you can pull a muscle and stretch something. So you got to be a little bit more lax, if not relaxed, in this battle right now. Be viable and agile. Don't be so stiff and restrained and stuck, or you're going to break. Roll with the punches. Go with the flow and grow with the flow, even if the flow becomes a flood, and I predict it will become tsunamic. The weather already has done it. California, I was born and reared there. My dad was born there. All my siblings were born there. I lived there the first 18 years of my life. Go back once or twice every year. Southern California had snow. There's flooding in California, and not just, usually these storms and tornadoes seem to look for trailer parks and hit the poor. You're seeing multi-million-dollar homes drop off into rivers and lakes and even in the ocean, like in places like Miami. Whole hotels, 5-star resorts are crumbling into the waters. The ocean lines are rising with global warming. A lot of the conservatives don't even believe in global warming. They didn't believe, and the president, Trump, former president, is responsible for millions of deaths because he refused to even acknowledge the pandemic as legitimate. And some of those Republicans still, or conservatives, still don't believe it's real. I mean, people are dying every day. There's still about 1 million people dying of COVID every day in America. And they say it's better. They're toning it down. It's not in the news as much. So a lot of adjustments have to happen. You got to be, you got to be pliable and flexible and adjustable and adaptable to what's happening. This is something we're never going to get away from. Life is filled with varying suddenlies. Death, too, is often sudden, even though it's preceded by a short illness. I'm dealing with a lot of suddenlies. I'm dealing with certain senses and illusions of both hope and helplessness as I feel and discern what's coming as a person, as a servant of the people, meaning a minister. I sense something, and I'm not a negative person, but I'm not so earthly minded that I'm no earthly, so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly. I'm not out of touch with reality. Let me just say it that way. Okay, I'm spiritual. I'm mystical and a little bit mythical. I like meditation and prayer and worship, and good music, and I love nature, and I often fast and pray, and I consecrate it. I try to live a pure life and as clean as I can, and I try to treat people. I generally do treat everybody the same. Some people I'm a little bit more kind to that I'm personally involved with, but generally I love people. I just the way I am. But I'm sensing a hope and helplessness out there. When I say helplessness, I mean there are several things coming down the pike that we simply can't help or stop. We can only adjust to, walk through, or navigate as best we can. That's where I feel helpless. I'd stop some of the horrible things there. The demolition is dusty. People are choking on the dust of buildings going down, not just in the natural, but circumstantially, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Some crazy stuff is happening. Our word matrix is derived from the late Middle English, referring to the sense of womb. As I said earlier, Mother Earth is both natural and spiritual. And so things are happening that are very, very powerful, poignant, some of them very pitiful, very pathetic, as well as prophetic, all happening at the same time. And Dalai Lama said the ultimate authority must always rest within the individual's own reason and critical analysis. So as we navigate, and I'm almost finished, as we navigate these narrow passages in life and in time, develop your own centeredness, your own core anchor, and your own individual reason, critical analysis, logic. Think. Meditate means to murmur or to repeat something, really. In the Hebrew scripture where it says, on his law do I meditate day and night. You're thinking. Thoughts are things, and thoughts are powerful. They're creative. They're inventive. As you've heard me say many times, what you think about, you bring about. And also what you fear most, you will ultimately experience. So you can acknowledge dangerous and perilous things without fearing them. You don't have to fondle them, but you must navigate them. I'm always impressed. I love movies with oceans and ships and all that stuff. And when these big waves, even tsunamis come, I'm so impressed with these navigators who never show fear, sometimes intensity, but not fear. And they know how to shift the boat and ride through the storm and not be drowned or not go under. It's an art. It's a science. It's a grace. That's what it is to live. But think, pray, pay. I'm encouraging everybody, and I've been saying for weeks, keep a little cash somewhere. And of course, with a couple of banks that are going down, they're telling us that our financial institutions are stable. Bank of America, Chase, things like that seem to be stable, but you never know what will happen. Have a little extra food, a few weeks of survival food and water. But more important than all of that, or equally important as all of that, is to make sure your inner being is intuitively connected to the reason and logic of the universe. Stay connected to the wider, broader hope of what is. Love the earth, love the trees, love the rain, the wind, the dirt, the mud, even the storms. Embrace them because they do come. They do happen like the seasons. Don't make yourself allergic to them. Okay? Respond peacefully and positively to everything, even unhealthy relationships that are difficult. I've navigated through a lot of unhealthy, hurtful relationships without becoming hostile or bitter. I've gotten hurt, but I've never been harmed by any because I don't allow harm. You can't avoid hurt or pain. Pain is unavoidable. Misery is a choice. Are you hearing me? Pain is unavoidable. Misery is a choice. You choose who you want to be. You choose how you want to be. You choose what you want to be, and sometimes even where. Give it all some thought. You're powerful. You're poignant and important. You are impacting and impactful. People are watching you. I've been scrutinized all my life. People have always watched me. Of course, I'm a public figure, so a lot of times I'm seen publicly. And even when I go out in public, I'm not always recognized, but usually I am somewhere, especially in airports and things like that. In the city, I've lived here for 52 years, so I can hardly go to a restaurant and they don't harass me. People nod. They're very respectful. Some will come over that I really know and give me a hug or something like that, which I enjoy. Or I'll go to people I see in restaurants and places like that and give them a hug. I mean, my friends are like family to me. I love all of them. Every member that I remember, I hug them like I've always. My kid Julian particularly is like that. Everybody was uncle. My kids call all the members of the church uncle and aunt if they had close proximity to us in our home. And I love that. It costs a lot of pain. They've had to forgive. We're all going through that. And people are having to forgive us, particularly me. That's changing now that things are calming down. I needed the address, Malachi. Have Sam or somebody give me the address for Sunday where I'm going to be in Atlanta. This coming Sunday is my 70th birthday, and I'll be in Atlanta. I get there on Friday, and I am at the Hillside Truth Center with my friend Bishop Jack Bomar on Sunday morning, I think at 11. I'll be at another event that's not open to the public on Saturday night. But the service, I actually will speak. My daughter will sing Majesty. I think Clarice Park's going to be there on the keyboard. A lot of the people who are at this billionaire millionaire event I'm going to be with on Saturday night are coming to the service that Sunday morning, which honors me greatly. A lot of them are spiritual people, and though they're successful in business and life. My friend Brian Keith Williams introduced me to Dr. Stacy Lang, and she's just a delightful human being, an amazing woman, young and powerful, rich, personally successful. She's a financial counselor. She writes grants for businesses and the ministries or charitable organizations. She's got her hands in a lot of things. She grew up in CUT, Christ Universal Temple in Chicago. I didn't know that till we were on the phone last week. She grew up to see, she knows Johnny. Her mother was one of the first members, friends of Johnny Coleman, the late, great Johnny Coleman. So that was a connection I didn't expect. She's into new thought, expanded consciousness. She's not stuck and jaded by religion, as I have been most of my life, and most of my religious friends are, particularly evangelical fundamentalist Pentecostal Christians. That's not a criticism, it's an observation, because I'll always be somewhat Pentecostal. That's why I have the Metacostal movement, because I'm into metaphysics, new thought, expanded consciousness, quantum theory, esoteric thought. I love astrology. I love mysticisms. I study history, both myths and mysteries. I'm curious, I'm adventurous, and I don't apologize for any of it. And I'm so glad I don't have to report to my enemies subjectively. Neither do you. Freedom is not for cowards. It takes courage to be free. Cowards can't handle it. Freedom is costly. It isn't always free. So that's why I say it's not for cowards. But the great world changers, even those who've changed it evilly, like the Hitlers and the Putins and the Stalins and the Lenins and the Trumps, people like that are evil, but they are courageous. They believe what they believe. They follow through with it, impacted and impugned millions. We're the good people. Let's get out there. Let's assert ourselves, our voices and choices. Let's make a difference. Let's be the difference in the world. I encourage you to do that. Let's stay together. Let's walk together. Let's talk together. Let's work together to make a better world, a bitter world, a better one. We can do it. We want to expand the reach of us. That's why I ask you to subscribe or like, or I keep forgetting to tell you to do that each week. But I want you to think of ways to take this message. It's important. Share it with your friends. These are all archived messages, so you can go back and listen to it. Go to my Facebook or YouTube page. It's just have all the movies there. Music is there. My 2 books, Gospel of Inclusion and God Is Not a Christian or a Jew, Muslim, Hindu. It's all there. Some of my writings, the way you can reach out to me and for invitations and all that kind of thing. That's all on the site, bishoppearson.com or carltonpearson.com, whatever it is. What's the newest? I think it's just carltonpearson.com. Right, Malachi?
Yes, and then Bishop Pearson is still up. bishoppearson.com is also still up too.
And we're always tweaking it. They're always adding things. Malachi's been working on it a while. And but there's a lot of stuff there for you. I love you. Thank you for your time. It's about 9:15, so I'm getting a little earlier, finishing a little earlier, which I wanted to do. So you can think about what I've said. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for the happy birthday. You know what somebody sent, and I tried to find her on Messenger, on her Facebook, $740 on Cash App to me. The large, only time we got one large one, that was $1,000. Somebody sent that. We don't get large gifts like that ever. But for these 2, but this was last week. I just was elated. A lady who's retired. I just want to squeeze her. She lives in Georgia. I was just so elated that somebody sent that kind of money to celebrate my 70th birthday. Really, really touched me deeply. But all of you who've been sending $70 or $7 or anything, especially recently. I just appreciate it so much. I really do. I can't respond to everything like I want to. I always put a heart or 2 or 3 or something on there for acknowledge the gifts. And but there are thousands of people out there who are fans and followers, but don't necessarily write me or say anything or give anything. We try to do what we can. I'm going to spend more time as I'm able to actually on my site after, like tonight. I would like to respond. Look, Miss Serendipity. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Somebody said, that's right. I just happened to read yours. 165 people watching, but only 55 thumbs up. Let's promote that. Thank you, Miss Serendipity. Who said that? Sly and Juanita, Crystal. Everybody watching, do something. Hit something, even if you don't like it. But we need to know you're there. Okay? That helps us. Facebook looks at us differently when the numbers are larger. There have been times when we've had 2,000. We would average 2,000 or 3,000 every time. Now it's like a few hundred. I don't know what happened. Back when I was in Chicago, before it was as popular, they wanted all these people online. But the numbers increase over time, because people go watch it later, and then the numbers are up. But there are 8 million. Huh?
This is Hillside service. Are you going to be at Hillside?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is it called? Hillside
Truth Center.
Okay.
I think it's Hillside International Truth Center in Atlanta. I wish I had the address. I asked Sam earlier for a little promo. Yes, I haven't seen it. There's a promo that has the address, but just look up Hillside Truth Center in Atlanta, and come on Sunday morning. We have a wonderful organist come. My daughter's going to be there and sing. Thank you. I see the first Cash App tonight, whoever that is. Thank you. Who's sending something? Remember, nothing is too small. Nothing is too small or unappreciated. And of course, nothing is too large. Like that $770, not $740, $770. A retired lady sent. I almost wanted to send it back, but I got over it. But I just was concerned initially that she did that. Somebody else was sending. So thank you. The birthday is next Sunday, but we can celebrate all month long if you want to. I have friends that put on huge parties for themselves, and people come and they dress and they have a ball. I've never done that. I don't think I'd ever put one on for myself, but I'm glad I'm alive. And as Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days of your life, the day you're born and the day you realize why. I know I'm here. I love you. Peace and blessing. Thank you. Good night. I always say God bless you. And of course, God be you. Your God self. You're divine.
Put my to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am